We're continuing the Shi'ur in the Garden of Emunah. We're on page 102 under There Are No Tribulations. And Yisurin, the rabbi tells us. Yesterday we were discussing how there's no choice. We either accept the troubles that we're dealing with happiness, or we just suffer and we're in Gehenna. Why? Because it's lo tov li, it's not good for me. All those thoughts are a terrible thing. And therefore, what comes out really? If it's either emunah or suffering, it comes out that there really is no suffering. Because there's no choice but to choose emunah and to choose a good life. And now that we come out with that understanding, that there's no choice, there's also no suffering. The suffering is only based upon your own level of emunah. Why? What do I mean by that? Hashem says, okay, now you have to deal with this principle, you have to deal with this teacher, you have to deal with whatever suffering you're going through in life. That's your inyan. But how much you actually suffer, what the intensity of the suffering is, that's all on you. That's all on you. How much you sit there and dwell upon everything and think about all this and all that and how dare he and I can't believe they spoke to me that way. But when we have emunah, there's no suffering, because it's only the lack of that. It's only that we're not doing that. It's only that we're not saying thank you, Hashem. And it's only that we're not understanding that it's all from Hashem and it's good for me. It's the lack of emunah and the das that is causing us to feel that way. Rav Arush brings down from Rav Nachman a very, very important mishpat, which then proves his point here. Because he says, Da. Shekol mine sar v'kol ha'yisurim enam rak mechesron hadat. That everything that a person's going through, any difficulty or trouble that he has, it's only because he lacks spiritual awareness. The spiritual awareness of what? What da'at dikdusha? What are we talking about? This upper lofty da'at that the rabbi is talking about. What is it? It's what we've been learning all the time. Hashgaha pratit. Everything's from Hashem. And it's hakol tov. That's the da'at. Kimishi yesh lo da'at. Because when you have this da'at, v'yudea she'akol behashgaha me'haboreh. En lo shum yisurin. He has no troubles. Ve'eno mergish shum sar. And you don't feel any pain from it. This is our job. Our job is to understand that we're suffering because we choose to suffer. We choose to not make it good, to not make it easy on our lives, to not say thank you. And what happens if we don't like something? But okay, I'm not on that level. I don't like something. And I don't always always say thank you. Well, the rabbi tells us, so you know what you have to do? You got to pray. You got to ask Hashem, wow, Hashem, I fell in my thank you, Hashem. I fell in the fact that it was hard for me to recognize that this is good. So what do? We have the Melech, Malchei Melachim. We have the King of Kings. He's our Father. And He wants your good. And He wants you to tell Him thank you. That's what we do. That's what a Yehud is. A Jew, Yehudim, means we thank people. We thank Hashem. We're thankers. That's who we are. So when you go and ask Hashem now, people are asking for the Porsche and you're asking to tell Hashem thank you? Oh, Hashem, believe me, is going to give it to you. He's going to give it to you. Because Hashem is karov lechol kora'av be'emet. Anybody who calls Him for emet, and what's more emet than emunah? You're calling Him in His emet. Hashem, emes is that you're good and it's hakol tov, but I don't get it. Help me to understand it. Help me to just, or not understand it, help me to just feel that I can say thank you for it. And that's our job. And that's what this whole movement of thank you Hashem, this is the Ma'abarif. The Ma'abarif is another version, but it's the pre-thank you Hashem. It's how we get to thank you Hashem. Thank you Hashem, it comes after we Ma'abarif. If we Ma'abarif and we know that we don't know, then we're able to accept the thank you and tell Hashem thank you. We should be zocheh to say thank you Hashem for everything in our life, for everything good or seemingly bad, or whatever else we think is going on, or just the mundane, or just Corona. Tell Hashem thank you for Corona today. Tell Hashem thank you for COVID. Why? There's a lot to be thankful for about COVID. There's a lot to be a little bit upset about, but how much things changed, and we have to change. We have to change now, because it's coming to a point where if we don't change now, who knows what's going on in the world? We should be zocheh to be able to change along with the world as it did now in such a strong way and be able to come closer to Hashem.